leave in just one moment. In the meantime, if you want to ground yourself, plant your feet firmly on the floor, or if you're laying on a couch, you can plant yourself firmly in your couch wherever you are. And we shall enter this Shabbat grounded and grateful. So I'm glad to see all of you here this evening. Shabbat Shalom. This week just flew by. I don't know if it flew by for anybody else, but it certainly did for me. And it's nice that we're able, no matter how fast the rest of the week is, we're still able to come together on Friday and celebrate welcoming Shabbat together. So we are going to get started with a nigun that we haven't actually sung in quite a while. I think we may have done it once or twice before, but I really like it, and it met the Shabbat spirit that I was looking for this week. So as you feel comfortable, please feel free to sing along. And please make sure that your computer is muted, but please feel free to sing along from home. Let's take that deep breath in and a deep breath out. Can I ask one of our community members to read for us this reading about Shabbat? Susan, that would be great. Thank you.
An artist cannot be continually wielding a brush. An artist must stop painting at times to freshen their vision. Living is also an art. We dare not become so absorbed in its technical processes that we lose our consciousness of its general plan. The Sabbath represents those moments when we pause in our brushwork to renew our vision. Having done so, we take ourselves to our painting with clarified vision and renewed energy. This applies to the individual and to the community alike. Mordecai Kaplan.
Thank you. And we welcome Shabbat by lighting the Shabbat candles. I encourage you, if you have not done so already, to light along with me. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Yadadai, 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 or zavu Tzadik u'yishrei lev simcha, or zaru ala tzadik u'yishrei lev simcha. Yadadai, 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 yadadai. We continue welcoming Shabbat with the words Lecha Dodi. Lecha Dodi Likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, Hishmi'anu el hamiuchad. Adonai echad u'shmo echad, v'shemo tiferet v'litchila. Lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki hi mekor haberacha. Merosh mikedem mesucha, sof ma'aseh b'machshva tchila. Lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. בשלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצוהלה. תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת קבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. One of my favorite teachings in Judaism is about the fact that when we have holiness, we're supposed to try and extend it a little bit longer. And Kabbalat Shabbat is a time when I feel especially holy, so I wanted to add an extra Kabbalat Shabbat psalm, which actually usually does come after Lecha Dodi. It just kind of feels a little bit like an addition. So the words are Tzadik katamar yifrach. The righteous will bloom like a date palm. And as we are soaking in these last few months where there's flowers everywhere, we think about what it means to bloom, and that we hope that righteousness will be seen all over the hills, just like on our drives to work and to visit family and to go to the doctor's office and to all of these things. We hope that we will see a world where righteousness blooms and flourishes like the flowers we see. Tzadik katamar yifrach, ke'erez balvanon yizkeh, shetulim beveit Adonai, bechatzrot Eloheinu yafrichu. Od yenuvun b'seva, deshenim v'ra'ananim yiyu lehagid ki ashar Adonai tsuri velo avlatabo. If I could ask another volunteer from our community to read a blessing as we prepare for the Shema and her blessings.
I will, Rabbi Zoe.
Thank you.
Teach me, O God, a blessing, a prayer on the mystery of a withered leaf, on ripened fruit so fair, on the freedom to see, to sense, to breathe, to know, to hope, to despair. Teach my lips a blessing, a hymn of praise, as each morning and night you renew your days, lest my day be today as the one before, lest routine set my ways.
Thank you, Terry. We now rise for the Baruch Hu. Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Yai lai 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 lai, yai dai 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 dai. Please be seated. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Borei yom v'layla, kolel mipnei choshech, kolel mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Blessed are you, the one who creates day and night and the transitions in between. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam va'ed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha. Ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha. V'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. Sing the song of men and women joined in understanding and respect. The song of God's miracles, an earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children, the gift and the generations to come, the song of a land once ravished by war, now quiet and content, her soldiers home to leave no more, the song of a world redeemed, the song of peace. Whenever we make this transition from Michamocha to Hashkivenu, it sometimes feels a little jarring, right? We're going from, woohoo, we're free, woohoo, we're free, let's dance and let's sing and let's party and we're so happy that we are free. And then all of a sudden we're like, and now let us sleep. And in our service, it can feel a little bit jarring to go from that upbeat and that dancing feeling to a little bit calmer. But so many of us know in our lives that after we have gone through hardship and things that were exhausting, we finally got to the other side and we have that moment of joy. And then we want some sleep. And so perhaps in those moments, and perhaps in this moment, it will be helpful to take a calming breath to move from the joy to the calm and to asking for sleep and for the ability to be rested for whatever tomorrow will bring. So let's take a deep breath. And we join together for the Hashkivinu. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leShalom Behamidenu Shomrenu Lechaim. Spread the shelter of your peace over us. Guide us in wisdom, compassion, and trust. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leShalom Behamidenu Shomrenu Lechaim. Save us for the sake of your name. Shield us from hatred, sorrow, and pain. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leShalom Behamidenu Shomrenu Lechaim. 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 We continue with our tefillah, our core prayers of Shabbat services. I encourage you to rise in all the ways you are able. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi agi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, Ve'Konei Hakol, Ve'Zocher Chastei Avot v'Imahot, U'Mevig Ula Livnei V'neihem, Le'ma'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'Ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh hakol atah Rav lehoshia, Mashiv haruach u'morid hagashem, Mechalkel chayim bechesed, Mechayeh hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim ve'rofei cholim, Umatir asurim, Umekayim emunato Lishene afar, michamocha bal gevurot, umido melach, melech memit umechaye, umatzmiach Yeshua, v'ne'eman ata l'hachayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai, mechaye hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom yehalelucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. Please take a moment for your own silent prayer. Imrefi, ve'hegion libi lefanecha. Adonai tzuri, Adonai tzuri, begoali, begoali, iyu leraton, imreifi, imreifi, ve'hegion libi lefanecha. Adonai tzuri, Adonai tzuri, ve'goali, ve'goali. So this evening, we are going to hear some words of Torah, and not just the words I have to say about Torah, but actual words from the Torah. But instead of doing a full Torah service, we will be doing a slightly alternative version where it's as if we're studying it. So the blessing that we're going to say is not the traditional reading from the physical Torah, but I encourage you, if you know the words or if you see them on the slide, to join with me in saying the blessing for engaging in words of Torah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah. The stranger do not maltreat and do not oppress, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt. Every widow and orphan you shall not mistreat. If you do mistreat them, as soon as they cry out to me, I will heed their cry. Then my anger will blaze forth, and I will smite you, or I will smite you by sword, and then your wives shall become widows, and your children shall become orphans. V'ger lo toneh v'lo tilchatzena, כי גרים הייתם בארץ מצרים, כל אלמנה ויתום לא תענון. אם ענה תענה אותו, כי ימצאו יצעק אלי, שמוע אשמע צעקתו. וחרה אפי, והרגתי אתכם בחרב, והיו נשיכם אלמנות, ובניכם יתומים. And we'll sing together Eitz Chaim, a tree of life, to those who hold fast to it, and all who uphold it, all who uphold that the stranger shall not be maltreated, shall be happy. Eitz Chaim hi lemachazikim ba v'tomcheha meushar deracheha darchei noam v'chol netivoteha shalom. Hashivenu Adonai elecha v'nashuva Chadesh, Chadesh Yameinu, Chadesh Yameinu kekedem. So the words that you just heard me read, first in English and then in Hebrew, come from Exodus chapter 22, verses 20 through 23. But we've had a lot of missing pieces along the way, so I want to bring us up to speed. So Moses and the Israelites left Egypt, they crossed the Red Sea, and Pharaoh's army was at their back trying to bring them to slavery. Pharaoh's army did not succeed. The Israelites survived, they sang, they were happy, woohoo. And then they continued on their travels, and some miracles happened. But also, the Israelites were attacked by Amalekites. Not only were they attacked, but they were attacked from behind, where the stragglers, the weakest among them, were located and unable to protect themselves. Last week, in Parshat Yitro, Am Yisrael finally arrived at Sinai, and Moses' father-in-law gave some important advice about communal leadership. And then God said to Moses, Am Yisrael, you need to prepare yourself to hear directly from me. And they heard the 10 Commandments, and then were so overwhelmed that they told Moses, you go listen to God, we will listen to you, but this is too much for us. There's a cloud over there that seems like God's voice is coming from there. See you later. And so then Moses went to that cloud and listened to God to a bit closer to Mount Sinai so that he could convey the message back to Yisrael afterwards. It turned out God had a lot to say, which brings us to this week's Torah portion, Mishpatim, literally laws, where Moses is pretty much the whole time listening to the rest of God's first speech to Am Yisrael at Sinai. This week, I was listening to a podcast I enjoy called Drinking and Drashing, Torah with a Twist. And in one of my favorite parts of the podcast, at the very beginning of each episode, Gabe Snyder, the co-host and fourth-year cantorial student at my alma mater, HUC-JIR, attempts to explain the entire Torah portion, details and all, in 60 seconds or less. Not an easy feat. For this week's Torah portion, Gabe highlighted a pattern that I hadn't noticed before. There's much more that I'm not including in the two quotes that I'll be saying in just a moment, even from the 60-second summary. But I'm going to do my best to capture the pattern while still encapsulating his speed and his energy. Just know it's way better when he does it. So if you want to listen to it yourselves, feel free to contact me after services. I'll send you the link. What's the punishment for murder? Death. Hitting your parents? Death. Kidnapping? Death. Bestiality? Death. Disrespecting a parent? Death. Cool. Quite possibly the most important line in the entire Tanakh, you shall not wrong the stranger or oppress them, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt. What's the punishment for mistreating a widow or orphan? Death? No. God's anger will blaze forth, and God will personally smite you, so your wife will become a widow and your child will become an orphan. So don't do that. End quote. This week's Torah portion describes the consequences of interacting with others in improper ways. We see that there are certain behaviors of grave importance to be taken incredibly seriously, and yet there is one that stands out beyond the rest. 36 times in the Torah, we hear about how we are meant to treat the stranger. These commandments range from what we read earlier in the evening, don't wrong or oppress the stranger, to other areas where we are commanded to actively welcome the stranger. These commandments are often coupled with protections for the widow and the orphaned, as these three categories of human were those with the fewest resources in society at the time. These commandments are the definition of repeating for emphasis. Welcoming the stranger as well as the widow and orphan was so important, it was repeated 33 more times than the 3 commandments regarding not mixing milk and meat. As we heard from student cantor Gabe Snyder, acting with kindness and moral correctness toward the stranger, the widow, and the orphan was, in God's eyes, placed above disrespecting your parents, kidnapping, or even murder. For other punishments, it's the members of the community who carry out the punishment. For mistreating the stranger, the widow, and the orphan, God would personally carry out the punishment. While welcoming the stranger sounds nice in theory, we know that practicalities have become more challenging. Around the country in the past 2 weeks since the Colleyville attack, Jews have been asking themselves, should we still prioritize welcoming the stranger? Can we still open our hearts and our communities to those who are in search of spiritual, emotional, or even physical homes? During times where we cannot guarantee our safety, it's hard not to think about the ways that we should be protecting ourselves. We think to ourselves what actions we can take so we do not allow others to hurt us, to scare us, and to remind us of our own vulnerability. The Israelites probably had similar feelings on the subject. In their travel to Mount Sinai, relatively early in their journey from Egypt to Eretz Yisrael, many of their interactions with strangers and outsiders were instances of violence. Pharaoh's army wanted to bring them back to slavery. The Amalekites attacked them when they were weary and killed the stragglers, the elderly and the young first, when they were unable to protect themselves. Even so, even in this moment, when the Israelites likely wanted to take whatever measures it took to close themselves off, protecting them from any individuals they did not already know or trust, this was one of the 36 moments that God chose to say that we are commanded to welcome the stranger as well as the widow and orphan. So to answer this question, should we still welcome the stranger? I say this: not only we should, we must. We are commanded to 36 times. We must continue welcoming the new face we haven't seen before, whether or not they look like us, whether they look like they are of the same socioeconomic status as us, whether they already know insider information that we have or not. In the words of Rabbi Charlie Citron Walker, who spoke to this very question in a recent interview, people are looking to pray. People are looking for community. They're asking the question, do I belong? And we need to stress to them, and the whole community has to be able to stress to them, that yes, you belong. And as Am Yisrael said to God and to one another and to Moses, when Moses shared all of these laws at the end of this Torah portion, Na'aseh v'nishma, we will do and we will listen. Can ye hear at Zon? May this be God's will. With these words of Torah on our hearts and our minds, we turn our hearts to those who are in need of healing. Healing of body, healing of spirit. If you are thinking of someone who's in need of healing at this time, please feel free to say their name aloud in the room, to hold their names or their faces in your hearts and in your minds, and to type their name in the chat. We'll pause as we allow ourselves to do so.
Debbie Lindstrom.
For all those names we've said aloud, that we've held in our hearts, that we've typed in the chat, we sing the words Misha Beirach, wishing for them a refuah shlema. Misha Beirach Avoteinu Mekor HaBracha Leimoteinu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Misha Beirach Imoteinu Mekor HaBracha We continue with Aleinu. Please rise in all the ways you are able. Aleinu leshabeach ladon hakol, lateit gedula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu kegoye haratzot, velo samanu kamishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chalkenu kahem, vegor aleinu kechol hamonam, va'anachnu korim, ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. We pause to think about those who are blessings in our lives. May their memories be for a blessing. We are remembering the yard sites of the following people. Please rise as your loved one's name is read. Lumen Barbosa, mother of Melody Barbosa Kalik. Bill Bitter, father of Arlen Bitter Peavy. Fred DeMar, father of Joan LaBelle DeMar. Bernard Field, father of Penny Feinberg. Harriet Gore, mother of Verona Gore. Jaime Hochman, remembered by Bryna Barsky. Coleman Karesh, father of Sarah Linkram. Hugh Myers, remembered by Pip Simon. U.C. Reina, father of Hugo Silverberg Reina. Enya Savranske, remembered by Mira Och. Frederick Steinberg, stepfather of Jerry-Ann Smith. Alan Titel, brother of Mara Shade. Anne Weiner, mother of Alan Weiner. We now invite all who are observing their first year of mourning to rise at this time. And now we rise as a community with our mourners to say the words of the Kaddish Yatom, the mourner's Kaddish. Yitz Gadal v'yitz Kadash Shemei Rabbah, Be'alma Divrach Chirute v'yamlich Malchute, B'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chaye Dechol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala uvizman Kariv v'imru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mevorach Le'olam Olamei Almaya, Yitzbarach v'yishtabach v'yitzpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemei dekudsha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru Amen. Zichronam livracha. May their memories be for a blessing. Please be seated. Ose shalom bimromav, Uya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen. Ya'aseh shalom, Ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, Ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. It's now my pleasure to invite our trustee president to share words of announcement. Shabbat Shalom.
Join us virtually next Thursday, February 3rd at 5. I needed to turn the microphone on. Shabbat Shalom. Join us virtually on Thursday, February 3rd at 5 p.m. for Celebrating Tzipporah's Children with speaker Cantor David Fair. We will learn about the history of American Black Jewish music and lived experiences. This event is open to all ages, 12 and up. Please register on our website by Wednesday the 2nd to receive the Zoom link. A $10 donation is suggested. 60 by 60, TBT's participation in the Fremont Green Challenge is kicking off on Wednesday, February 9th. Join us at 7 p.m. for a Zoom introduction led by Program Manager Patrick Journey. For questions, check our webpage or contact Susan Schwartz. WTBT's annual membership event is happening either Sunday, February 13th, or possibly, depending upon the Super Bowl, February 20th at 3 p.m. Members will meet on Zoom for I've Never Seen a Woman Rabbi Before and Other Stories, a conversation featuring Rabbi Zoe McCoon and Rabbi Eve Ben-Ora. This is free to all WTBT members. If you're not already a member, there's still time to join. In celebration of Temple Beth Torah's 60th anniversary, the women of Temple Beth Torah invite one and all to join us for a virtual tour of Israel. The tours will take place on 3 consecutive Sundays, February 27, March 6, and March 13 at 1:30 p.m. Please see our virtual tour of Israel event page for details, pricing, registration, and payment. Everyone is welcome to attend no matter where they are in the world. Spotify users, we're creating a Temple Beth Torah Shabbat playlist. Share the songs you listen to, Jewish or otherwise, that put you in a restful, restorative Shabbat headspace. Student Rabbi Ari will create this resource, which will be available online for all to listen to as part of your own transitions into this sacred time. See the weekly email for instructions on how to submit songs to Student Rabbi Ari. Have you ever wanted to learn how to use the sound equipment in the temple? If anyone does, I will be happy to help share with all the new equipment because we really do need some help in covering Shabbat services and other events here. So please contact me if you have any interest. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. As it was once said in the history books, ask not what your temple can do for you. Ask what you can do for your temple, like helping with the audio equipment. Please, even if you have no idea, you've never done anything like this before, if you think that you might be able to learn a new thing and it might be a fun way to brag to your friends about a skill that you learned during the pandemic, this is your opportunity. And also please join us on Thursday as we are having conversations about what safety looks like for all of the members of our community, present and future, learning about the history and present experiences of Black Jews in America is incredibly important. Please sign up, and I hope to see you there. We will continue with some family blessings. So if you are in the room with somebody who is either official family, chosen family, any of those other family categories that you decide to use, please reach out to them. And if you are not, I encourage you to close your eyes and hold in your heart people who you are sending your blessings to. And we say, may God bless you and keep you. May God shine God's face upon you and be gracious to you. May God's face turn to you and grant you peace. To this we say, Amen. And we now turn to the Kiddush. So if you want to grab your sweet beverage, please feel free to do so, and we will say the blessing together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit, ki hu yom techila lemikra'e kodesh, zeicher letziat Mitzrayim, kivanu v'charta, v'otanu kidashta, mikol hamim, v'shabbat kodshecha, be'ahava uvratzon, hinchaltanu, Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. L'chaim. We now continue with the motzi. And this week I am making motzi over a pain au chocolat. You know, this wasn't the reason that I went to rabbinical school, but it's not the reason that I went to rabbinical school. This is going to be a wonderful sweet treat for Shabbat. I hope you're going to have something sweet and delicious or savory and delicious at home. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'tei avon. And on that note, we are going to conclude with the words Shabbat Shalom to the Nigun that we were learning, or that we were singing at the beginning of services. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom. Tara.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.